Well, they knew you're a troublemaker. You got to be involved somehow.
Jeannie, turn around. Let me get a picture of you too.
I do like pictures.
Just you. You're fine.
I wasn't with Eric.
1, 2, and 3. Gotcha.
Just we're going to get started in just a minute here, so I'm going to ask everyone, we're a little bit tight on seats tonight, so I'm going to ask everyone to, you don't necessarily have to sit down, but at least find your chair so you have a place to sit for the meeting. And I think we're going to need some more chairs. What? I don't know. I'm waiting for people to take a seat or claim a seat. And after everyone sits down, we ask everyone to stand up. Do we need more chairs? I mean, there's still empty chairs. So I ask everyone who is standing, get chairs. Just want to make sure we've got enough out. We need more chairs. Yeah, there's a couple chairs over there, there's chairs up here. Anyone who needs a seat. And it's after 6, so we do want to get the ball rolling. So Mike's got some more chairs. So, now that I asked everyone to sit down, I ask everyone to please stand up. And Ruth, we get the meeting started with a prayer.
Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to be here. Thank you for all these people who love you and love our country. And we pray for our speaker today, and we know that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and we need wisdom as we encounter this new thing, this AI. So guide us, Lord, instruct us in how to keep the treasures that you give us. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, please take a seat. So, well, as usual, I'll start the meeting off with a little story. And this story is a little bit longer, so I'm going to be reading it because there's no way I can remember this. So this story is about 2 governors. We'll start with the governor of California, not naming any names. So the governor of California is jogging with his dog along a nature trail. A coyote jumps out and attacks the governor's dog, then bites the governor. The governor starts to intervene, but reflects upon the movie Bambi, and he realizes he should stop because the coyote is only doing what is natural. So he calls animal control. Animal control captures the coyote and bills the state $2,000 for testing it for disease and $5,000 for relocating it. And he calls a veterinarian. The vet collects the dead dog and bills the state $2,000 for testing it for diseases. The governor goes to the hospital and spends $30,000 getting checked for diseases from the coyote and getting the wound fixed. The running trail gets shut down for 6 months while the California Fish and Game Department conducts a $1 million survey to make sure the area is now free of dangerous animals. The governor spends $500,000 in state funds implementing a coyote awareness program for residents of the area. The legislature spends $2 million to study how to better treat rabies and to permanently eradicate the disease throughout the world. The governor's security agent is fired for not stopping the attack. The state spends $1 million to hire and train a new agent and additional special training for the nature of coyotes. People for the ethical treatment of animals, known as PETA. They protest the coyotes' relocation and file a $50 million lawsuit against the state. Meanwhile, the same thing happens to the governor of Texas, not naming any names. He's jogging. While he's jogging with his dog along a nature trail, a coyote jumps out and tries to attack him and the dog. The governor shoots the coyote with the state-issued pistol and keeps jogging. The governor spent 50 cents on a 9mm round hollow point, and buzzards ate the dead coyote. This is the last group I have to say this to, but just remember, elections count.
Amen.
Okay, our first speaker, speaking about AI and what's up with AI, is Brian Rushman. Brian?
Yeah, right here. Go ahead and open this here. All right. So welcome everybody. Go ahead and get started. As a way of an introduction, my name is Brian Rushman. I work for a company called C Forward. We're an IT company in Covington, Kentucky, and people hire us to be their outsourced IT for their businesses. So I come from the business side of things. In previous life, I was a computer programmer and technician throughout the day, and now I am currently serving as the president of C Forward. We've been in business for 26 years and support about 6,000 computers in our area and really nationally. So that's a little bit of background on me, and we're talking today about artificial intelligence, or AI, as is very common and popular right now in my world. Businesses typically want to know how they can be more quick, more productive, more everything in their jobs and be more exact, and so they want to know what's out there for them to use. And so we'll go over some of that stuff, and we'll go over a lot of stuff about how you will see it in your everyday life and how you could utilize it in your everyday life going forward. So I have some slides here, but feel free to raise your hand and ask any questions as I go. There's a lot of text on here. I'm not necessarily going to read it all, but some of it, you know, if you want to take pictures or a video or anything of it, that's of course fine. And I'll ask for some questions if you have any at the end as well. But artificial intelligence, in its definition, it's technology that mimics human intelligence, learning, reasoning, and problem solving. So if you remember when the internet first came out and we first had access to it, it was kind of like a glorified encyclopedia. People used it to find information more quickly, and it was updated more frequently, and there was that. You could check the weather and your sports scores and all that kind of stuff, and then it became more of, oh, we can do our banking on it, and we can do, we can find out all kinds of things and control a lot of parts of our lives. And then the cell phones came out, we had it all in our pocket instead of just sitting at a desk. AI is the next big iteration of what we can call the internet, but I think it's even bigger than that. It's growing faster than that. It's advancing more rapidly, and it's here, and it's going to continue to improve. And right now, I would say that we're still in the beginning stages of a lot of it, but as it goes, it's going to get better, and I'll go over some of those points. Think of AI like a student. It learns from examples and improves over time, just like we do. It learns patterns from data. Folks have had email spam filters for a long time. Any email service that you use has a spam filter built in, has a junk folder built in where that stuff can go. You can see it if you want to, but it's probably junk and it goes there. AI is like that, but a lot more, I don't know, appropriate, a lot better at it. AI can use spam filters and all kinds of things to improve greatly. So the successful ones get to your inbox and you see them, and the other ones don't. And you're not tempted to click on them, more importantly, to cause any issues or anything like that. Siri or Alexa. Everyone in this room probably has a device, a smartphone or something that sits in their house that uses Siri or Alexa or something like that, something you can talk to. You can have 2-hour-long conversations with AI. I don't know if who in here has ever used an AI product, like ChatGPT is a popular one, or Copilot or anything like that. And even if you use Google now, if you Google something, the first thing that comes up right under your search bar is an AI-generated response. Didn't used to always be that way, remember? It would just be ads or sponsored stuff at the top and then other things below that. Everything you get now is an AI response at the top there.
Is that AI response always, is it always accurate?
No. No, it's not. Now the idea is that is the most popular answer. The idea is that it has scoured the internet to know that is the most popular response to whatever you're asking. But no, AI is trained like anything else, and if you train it incorrectly, it will report incorrect information. So some real-world examples. If you're on Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, and you see recommended videos at the bottom, off to the side, things like that, it's using your history of what you've watched in the past to determine what those videos are. You know, you will see things that are along the subject of what you just looked for. The 13 hours of some show that you watched on Netflix, and we all watch those murder documentaries, and it's going to give you more examples of what to watch right after that. But same thing with music, same thing with everything that you're using there, and Amazon, of course. If you're shopping on Amazon, it says you may also like this. People that bought this also bought this. Would you like to add that to your cart as well? That's all using things in the past that people have bought in tandem with each other, or things that it thinks you will want to pair with whatever you just searched. Google Maps and Waze, I don't know how many of you ran into traffic when you were on your way here tonight, but I did. And those programs, those GPS programs, also are using AI in the background to kind of determine those traffic patterns, reroute you in the middle of a route if it's better, and things like that. Siri and Alexa and Google Assistant I already kind of touched on. I don't know how many people ever use this, the photo search on your phone. I have an iPhone. You do a photo search, you can search for anything, and by subject, by name, by whatever. It will know, say you have a contact in your phone. Let's say you have a picture saved for that person, right? It will go through your camera roll and it will know facial recognition. It will know who that person is and what their name is. And you could search for your grandson's name, and every picture that you've taken of your grandson will show up in order. You could search for things like shopping. You could search for things like sports, baseball, whatever, and it will show you all the pictures that have to do with baseball. It doesn't have to say the word baseball in the picture. It doesn't have to be taken at Great American Ballpark. It doesn't have to be any of those things, but it will find it and show that to you. So that's built into every iPhone now. I'm not sure about Android devices, but I could imagine that it's the same way. Autocorrect, predictive typing, if you use Microsoft Word or Outlook to send emails, things like that. The things that show up, you know, let me know if you have any questions, and you type "let me" and know if you have any questions automatically shows up right away. That's using predictive text and AI to determine, you know, they're probably going to say this. You can hit one key on your keyboard and it'll type all that out for you. So that's another thing that's in there. Smart plugs, light bulbs, things like that in your house. People can voice control those now. You can control them from a phone. It will even learn routines. It will learn that you come home every night at 5:22, and it will do whatever you tell it to do. If you turn on certain lights when you get home, if you turn on your oven when you get home at that time, if you know, all of that stuff can be connected now. That's called the Internet of Things. If you went and bought a refrigerator recently, chances are that you you can run that thing with your Wi-Fi, and it can send you a message if it goes below a certain temperature. Or it can tell you the things that you've taken out of it that you didn't put back in to add to a grocery list. It really is some pretty incredible stuff. There's even refrigerators now that have barcode scanners on them. You run out of ketchup, you scan the barcode, it adds ketchup to your grocery list. AI is all behind a lot of that stuff. Book meetings and manage calendars. This is really popular in my world. To be able to just know when someone is somewhere, how long it's going to take. I don't know if some of you have seen pop-ups on your phone of it knows you have something on your calendar, and it says it will take 22 minutes to get to this place right now with the way traffic is. You should leave at this time. That is all controlled and built into everything that we're talking about here into artificial intelligence. Some real world stuff, and I focused here on some healthcare and finance items, but it really runs just about everything you can imagine. In healthcare right now, AI is helping doctors really diagnose diseases. And with the invention of smartwatches and the things that we wear on our wrists to monitor all kinds of things, and how many steps we take in a day is how it started, right? But now it's heart rate and everything else you can imagine. Logging that, keeping track of that with sleep. If you have a sleep number bed or something like that, you can monitor all that stuff through an app. Helping users and doctors detect early warning signs, especially with Alzheimer's, has been huge recently. Before anyone would necessarily report that in the past, before they showed any symptoms that they were starting down that road. There is now AI basically built into anytime you go and get a physical or have a report or blood drawn or anything like that, that can detect these things and really bring them to light much sooner than they used to be brought to light. In finance, a lot of folks are using it, banks especially, to detect fraud 10 times faster than they used to be able to. So if you get a message from your credit card company that, hey, was this you, that actually spent this somewhere in Michigan or somewhere in Europe or somewhere where you haven't been ever or in months, it will detect that and stop it much quicker now than it used to be able to. Tools like Mint, Copilot Money, and Monarch automatically can categorize spending and detect patterns and help you budget and alert when you're overspending. We don't need that. We're good there. But they can forecast future expenses, suggest ways to cut costs and things like that. There's also apps out there that kind of can tell you everything that you're spending money on. I don't know how many of you go buy your credit card and look at line by line item every month, but if you don't, there's chances there might be some things on there, something you signed up for, something you did years ago that you may still be spending a little bit of money on each month that, why do I need that? I don't use that anymore. It's a subscription-based thing, or it charges me every month, or it charges me maybe just once a year. But it can be real surprising to install these apps and learn those kinds of things. So, but forecasting future expenses I thought was pretty good. AI can say, okay, I have a son that's 20 years old in college and looking for his next job and talking about moving out and doing all these things. It can help with all of that too, and project things and that we definitely never had the luxury of doing when I was that age. So, yeah.
I don't know if you know that in this much detail about it, but how can it predict Alzheimer's before symptoms appear?
I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. It's just based on regular. What I know is based on regular physicals and things like when it's testing you for your regular checkups, it can use. And Alzheimer's is one of them, right? But there's a ton of stuff, and it can just use AI and different machine learning, let's call it, to basically determine that you are more susceptible to these things. I think the thing here is it can do it a lot faster than it used to be able to be done.
Right.
That's the important part.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Along that line, because the first thing you said was, is AI always right? And the answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're predicting Alzheimer's, I can see a scenario where I go into the doctor and says, hey, AI says you got Alzheimer's, so let's start you on this regimen of whatever. I think it becomes important for us to say, hold on, put the brakes on. We can't assume AI is right just because it's AI.
Absolutely. I think that what it would do, I think your doctor would probably say that let's also do this other test on something that doesn't involve AI, right? Let's do something that is on in this level over here to really determine if that could be legit. And then, I mean, obviously a second opinion maybe without any of that in the mix is probably advised. So tools like ChatGPT that I mentioned, Copilot and Gemini are popular, and in a future slide I'll go over some of the tools and exactly what they do. But capable of generating text and images and even making decisions based on data. They're embedded in everyday business tools already, like email, business systems, and project management platforms. There's been rapid advancements recently in generative AI, which is basically creating content. Multimodal models, which processing a wide variety of inputs, text, images, and audio as prompts, and converting those to various outputs. So, literally, write me 1,000 words about this picture. Or use this 1,000 words and create a picture synopsis from it. Or a video, which is even crazier to think about, but that is actually the newest band of what's coming, is creating videos around something that you asked to be created. So that's the multimodal piece of it, taking all different kinds of things and making something out of it. And then, being responsible, and with all of this, with everything that we're saying, being ethical with it, being responsible with it. So, new AI systems can make decisions, take actions independently, and like virtual assistants manage tasks without constant human input. That really is, it used to be that when you search for something in Google, you got the next step. You got one more thing. But in order to get the thing after that, maybe you had to delve a little bit deeper, think on your own or something like that. This is creating the entire infrastructure of something. So, for example, I went out to AI and I said, I need to talk for 45 minutes to folks about artificial intelligence. And I need to let them know some of the things that are going on in today's world and some of the newest news about it and how it's affecting their life and how they could use it. And it gave me some of these points. But then it also said, well, what do you think about talking about this? And I mean, you could literally sit there with ChatGPT or Copilot and have a 2-hour conversation with it. I mean, that's what it is. It gives you the answer. And then it says, do you also want to know about this? What about this? What's this one thing you're forgetting? And I think that is right now real popular in the business world for people to use AI to get them 90% of the way there. There's still some human interaction, there's still some things, but they don't forget about certain aspects. They don't forget that 10th thing in the list, right? They got the first 9, but they don't forget that 10th one. And that's what it makes you think. And I think that, the new tools that generate text and images and audio and video from a single prompt, in growing emphasis on fairness, transparency, and accountability in AI systems is huge. Knowing what to trust and what not to in companies investing in it. So I was talking to a lady here when I first walked in they had implemented AI in their business, but they wanted it to stay within their business. They didn't want to use the tools that are out on the internet. They wanted it to be business specific. And that is going to take a long time for that to really come along. I think that the creating content is where we're at right now. First thing I ever did with AI when I first used it was I typed in, I'm a little bit of a history buff, and I said, I need 500 words on Louis XIII. It gave me 500 words on Louis XIII. I said, no, it's too short. Give me 10,000 words on Louis XIII. And it did it in a matter of seconds. And it wasn't pulling from any one place. It was pulling from every place. And then I said, well, make it shorter, but make it funnier. And tell some interesting pieces of history around Louis XIII, or around France when he was there. And it just does it all. So you can have conversations around it. A lot of folks are using it now. I need this email to be more professional. I need this to be funnier. I need this to be more succinct. I know my grammar isn't the best right here in this message. Could you make it grammatically correct? That's what a lot of folks are using ChatGPT for specifically right now. And Microsoft Copilot, for example. Did somebody have a question? Yeah.
What is the worry of this getting way out of hand, getting beyond our thought process and taking over?
Well, it's very RoboCop and Terminator and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of this, I will get a couple slides of things to look out for and future trends and stuff. Look, this is what movies have been made of, right, for years, and it is more of a reality now than it has ever been. That if this was really applied in a bad way, that it could create bad people.
There are bad people.
Oh yeah, there absolutely are. That will use this technology to further whatever they want to further. There absolutely is. So accountability is important. This is some of the scams that I thought I'd bring up, especially around financial investment opportunities, things like this. And along with this comes phishing emails, but also voice. The voice stuff is the thing that's scaring me a lot right now. So if you get a spam call on your phone, do not answer. Don't say hello. Don't do anything with it other than ignore it. 5 seconds of your voice, they can create your entire language, your entire vocabulary, and it sounds exactly like you. And I am not, so now, even if I leave a voicemail for somebody and that got into the wrong hands, social media posts of videos of you talking, things like that, all of this stuff could be exploited to be you. Video calls even, they can reproduce from pictures on Facebook and everywhere else, they can reproduce your face and it looks like you in a video. I was talking to a gentleman earlier when he had heard the story about a $20 million hack that had happened where there was a video call of a CEO who was on vacation and he got on a video call internally in a business and told the accountant to transfer $20 million to this account today to pay for X bill, whatever it was, wire this money, and he did it. And it was believable. The person was on a screen talking to her and looked like the person. So it's getting really good. It's getting scary. In my world, somebody calls me now to reset a password, and I recognize the voice, and I can see it's coming from their phone number. I still have to tell them, I'm going to hang up from you, and I'm going to call you back at this number and verify that you actually want this reset. I cannot trust that voice that I've talked to for 15 years, that that's actually that person. The scamming, the romance stuff, all that kind of stuff that's listed up here, that can all be done, and you can think you're carrying on conversations with a loved one. You can think that you're involved in all of these conversations. The fraud stuff down at the bottom, helping others create scams complete with clone voices is real. It happens every day. The scammers, face swapping tech and all of that that's listed there, saying they want to come visit you and they're in love with you and send them money for a plane ticket or send them $10,000 to help them with a bill. All of that, please, I beg of you to question any and all of that comes your way. It's real popular now for them to be on dating apps, for them to be involved in all kinds of scenarios and any kind of social media to make that happen. So, and I'll get into some other things around voice here. And this is what I said earlier. Even small bits of public data like Zoom recordings or social media posts can create convincing voice clones. Be cautious about what you share online. I'm not asking everybody to go home and delete their Facebook account, right? I mean, we all use that every day, and we all share photos and love to keep up with our loved ones and things like that. But it's just be cognizant of this stuff. Phishing emails, fake videos, suspicious requests. One down at the bottom is what happened with the $20 million hack. There's a sense of urgency. It has to be done now. It has to be done yesterday. If you think someone is rushing you to do something that is totally crazy, totally off the wall, something you wouldn't normally do before, somebody you know of that would never need to borrow money from you, please, it is a scam, it is not legit, and, just cut that off, don't be involved. I put up there some other things like, avoiding scams and having good passwords or multi-factor authentication. If you log into certain things now, I'm sure that sometimes some of those sites will text you a 6-digit code that you have to type in or things like that. That's multi-factor authentication. Or, hey, we're going to send a link to your phone, click on that link to reset your password or whatever. Those are all legit forms of multi-factor authentication. But please do somewhat have strong passwords on your items as well, because I've seen everything from an annoyance to an identity stolen because of a weak password. So have some, I talk a lot to people about passphrases, and I know I'm getting off the AI stuff a little bit here, but if you can create a sentence, passwords can have spaces, they can have an exclamation point at the end, they can have a capital letter at the beginning to start it, and you'll probably meet the character restriction too. If you have a trip coming up, or you have a sports team that you like, let's go Reds, exclamation point with spaces in between the words and a capital L and a capital R for Reds and things like that. That is significantly harder to attack and breach and find, much more so than a grandson's name with the year they were born being behind it. And I know that somebody in this room uses that for sure. Or summer 2025, or changes it with the seasons. Those are ones that are real susceptible to being hacked. So I do want to bring that up. Yes?
You talk about password. What about password manager apps that are out there now?
Yeah. A lot of those are good. They have been hacked. LastPass was hacked, and a lot of them are good. I can say that they're better than a lot of the alternatives. If you have to write a password down, I say it's not a good password. The encrypted long character passwords that those give you with one master password that you have are legit, are pretty good. But like LastPass was hacked twice. So can you still use LastPass and go out there and change your password and create new keys and stuff like that? Yeah, you can. But you just have to be, now it'll make the news if one of them's hacked and you happen to be using it, right? But there's a lot of people I know that use a product called Keeper. They really like Keeper, and they use that for password management. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but some of those password managers, the encrypted ones, aren't they device specific too? So they have a device key you have to access. You can only access using your master password from a device that's registered.
That is true in a lot of them. And there's options too, right? Turn things off or turn things on. But yeah, you're right. Any other questions about that? I know it's hard. I know people use the same passwords for tons of websites and have Post-its on their monitors and stuff like that. I run into it every day, but it really is important. At least with AI, if we're watching everything else, if we're doing all of that, please also don't have a simple password. So here's some of the tools that I've mentioned throughout, and specifically what they do. ChatGPT is the one I mentioned. Mainly text content creation, language translation, it does extremely well. If you had something that had a bunch of text in a different language and you need to translate it, ChatGPT could do that quickly. Copilot is popular in the business world.
How can I call you after the meeting?
DALL-E is images from text descriptions, which is pretty cool. Grammarly, writing assistant software tool, spelling and grammar like Microsoft Word has for years, right? But it also can look at tone and all kinds of other stuff. Some of the stuff I mentioned around,
Right.
Some of the stuff I mentioned around,
Love you.
what was it? Now I lost my train of thought. Well, maybe I was going to talk about plagiarism and stuff like that, because that was on the tip of my tongue before. This is really important for if you have children that are in school, or if you have, there's things that teachers are now using to detect plagiarism. And, you know, my son, being in college, could use a product like ChatGPT and go out and say, give me 1,000 words on Louis the 13th, and there's his report, and he turns it in, and good to go. But there's a lot of talk right now about, it's not plagiarizing one thing. You can't go to Wikipedia and say that it came straight off of there. I didn't just copy and paste it. I had a machine, a computer, create it for me. Are you gonna go talk to that machine or computer and determine how it, you know, how it created it? Well, I mean, no one person really created it, so I'm not really plagiarizing it. That's what the students will say. But there are different ways that schooling is happening now with different tests and different ways to detect what teachers refer to in this instance as plagiarism. So it's an interesting dynamic, but Grammarly helps with that. Clio is another financial assistant for budgeting and expense tracking, saving goals. ClickUp Brain for personal productivity, organizing tasks, journaling, habit tracking. A photo editor, Lensa. You take a picture and you want a different background on it. You take a picture, you want the sun removed from it, or you want shadows removed from it. You can share your photo there and it will change it or make it a cartoon and do all kinds of other stuff. And Otter and Plot are two really popular ones. We're actually using it tonight on my phone up here. It's recording this, and at the end of this, when I'm done, it will give a complete synopsis of everything I said. And so this is really popular, these two products in the business world, for us to have sitting on a conference room table. We have a conversation. It takes all the junk out, all the small talk that we have at the beginning. And if I say something at the beginning and then I say something again at the end, it pairs it up and it gives a really good summary of what was discussed. So, and everybody can use this in their daily life or whatever, but it's pretty cool the way that it does it. It's really precise, and it can synopsisize a bunch of stuff in a short amount of time and email it out to everybody that was there. So, and it transcribes it, records it, and all of that as well. So you could use a tool like that if you were at a lecture, if you were at a event. Say you're in the library here and an author is speaking about his book and you would love to have a synopsis about what he spoke about. You could use an app on your phone like Plot or Otter to record that, and then it would create the summary for you. So this is a thing. Sharing personal information with AI tools is not really advisable. By personal information, it could be anything that you don't want somebody else to know. But that's not what it's used for most of the time, but I feel it's important to also say it. Understanding different data policies and trusting platforms is one thing, but being critical of all of these AI recommendations, especially in areas of the business world, is real important, and not relying on AI to make complete decisions for you, like we talked about the healthcare road. Let's not go completely down the road that this may be a thing because AI said it. Let's also question it. So that's important. Legal advice. A lot of people use ChatGPT, for example, for legal advice. That is something that's definitely out there and something that you could use it for. It's pulled from a lot of different areas and could be legit. You could say, check it for the state of Kentucky and this situation and all of that. I just wouldn't give it personal information. On this date, I was doing this and this thing and all this. Yeah, I don't do that. But other than that, it could be used for advice. And copyright and intellectual property is a big thing too. If I ask AI to create an image for me, and then I use it as a promotion for this event, or I use it for my new album cover for my album that I'm releasing, and it pulls from the internet 95% of a picture that somebody else created and puts my head on it, and I use that, and now I'm making money using that. So there's a lot of discussion right now about this, and about who can use what, who created that. Well, if somebody can prove that they created 95% of something and you edited it, is it like it used to be in the past with Photoshop, where you would go out and do something like that, or edit an image? So discussion about that. I'm just saying, maybe be careful about that if you're using it for those types of things. And obviously the bottom bullet point always goes without saying, but don't use AI to impersonate others. I think we're all good people in this room, right? So I don't think that's a big thing, but it's not good to create misleading or harmful material. Sometimes some of the things I've done have been pretty funny. One of the first images I ever created was me on a unicorn jumping over a rainbow. And it used a picture of my face and put me on a unicorn jumping over a rainbow. Nobody here is going to believe that that's actually true, right? But there's people out there, and you could create things where it does look real, and it does look legit. It's getting better. Right now, you can kind of tell that it's generated, right? But it will continue to get better, much like the voice stuff continues to get better. And there you go. So some future trends. Stay curious and cautious, I think, is important. They're evolving to handle complex tasks independently, making decisions, learning from outcomes, and adapting in real time. AI agents will be used in everything from customer service to logistics and personal productivity. A lot of times now, it used to be when you call an 800 number for customer support, say, you would get a machine that would direct you to the correct department. Well, now a lot of times you never get to a person. You're entering prompts, you're doing things, you're getting to a certain point, you're putting in some credit card, your credit card number to check a balance or something like that. You never get to a person. 9 times out of 10, you can't even find out how to talk to an actual person. That will continue to probably get worse, I hate to say, because they will be replacing those people with things like this. So, because they're getting so good, they're generating information around multiple formats simultaneously. In the one down at the bottom is the newest technology, really. OpenAI Sora is creating videos based on prompts or text that you type. So like I said, I have 1,000 words, create a picture for me. Now you can create a video of this person doing this. So that'll be the next big thing, I think, for better or worse, that really comes down. There you go, voice AI, more natural, more responsive, interruptible, which it wasn't at the beginning. So having a conversation on the phone, voice prompts, saying something to them, you used to get confused, make you repeat what you were saying, things like that. They really can be interruptible now, which means that it can be an ongoing conversation. It can be somewhere where something is being said, you interrupt it, and it understands it. So it really could be like it's a real person, which is another reason why a lot of these tools will go away from actual humans and you can go to this, because it obviously is cheaper and saves money. But like Siri and Alexa, it'll be built into that. It will personalize learning experiences, adapting to students' pace and style, which is, I think, part of the good. Support lifelong learning and skill development for adults. Diagnostics to personalized treatment plans. It will become core part of medical care. Virtual health assistants and predictive models. Who has the option now to do a virtual doctor through the MyChart in St. Elizabeth and things like that? You have an option to have a virtual doctor. That is the beginning stages of that. But it will become more popular. It will detect and respond to threats faster than humans can. It can help train people to recognize phishing and social engineering attacks, which is the good side of things, for sure. And that's me. So if you have any questions, if you think of something, obviously right now we'll take some questions, but if you think of something afterwards and you feel free to want to call me or email me, that's my information up there.
Is that real?
That is real. That was actually taken of me, for real. I should have put something in the background though. You know what? For the next one, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to do something. There's going to be a rainbow back there or something. I don't know what, but yeah, that is actually me. Yes.
So who is monitoring this? Is
The computers.
is
No.
law enforcement involved in anything?
No. No. The short answer to your question is really no. Now, are they involved? Are they involved if something happens, and are they involved in getting to the bottom of some of that? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, they would be as involved in your identity being stolen now as they were in the past, though. I mean, look, this is cybersecurity was the big popular term for years and years, and it still is, right? And being secure and all the stuff I talked about, passwords and all that. It's just how can we continually evolve to protect ourselves with these new tools coming out? For AI, there's a zillion great reasons why it exists, but can it be bad? Yeah, it can be bad. Just like phishing and calling you to transfer money and all that other stuff is bad. There's tools now that can make that better or make that worse, and we still always go back to the education of this is the most important part. If something seems off kilter, if something doesn't look right, if something feels weird, it is. And just question it. Don't ever assume. I mean, it used to be that we would get up here and we would just talk to people about hovering over a link before you click on it. And if it looks like it's a weird website, it probably is, and don't click on it. 99% of what C Forward does and what we do, it revolves around people clicking links that they weren't supposed to click. And it goes down a bad path from there. But they still come in through email. That is still the number one reason why companies are getting breached and why they have to pay ransomware to Russia, China, and everywhere else. And why they get taken for that types of stuff is still clicking through emails. So we actually deploy fake emails to the people that we monitor. So the 6,000 computers that we manage, we actually send out fake emails, and it reports back to us who clicks on them, and they have to go through training. They have to watch videos and learn, so, yeah.
So, I guess maybe just to add on a little bit, maybe you can provide some additional insight if you have anything, because I work in cybersecurity too.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of people look at AI like, oh, this is something new, and it's emerging. Here, for good, it's not going away. And in addition to that, there's also dark AI stuff out there, dozens and dozens of tools. So like on the InfoSec side where we deal with things like social engineering and these clicking links are the two biggest threats that we face all the time, especially in our company. But like I just did a presentation for our CEO, there's been over 1,600 documented cyber breaches and data loss incidents costing upwards of more than $1 million per company just in 2025 alone.
Yeah.
And that's the people that know about it. Like one of them was their InfoSec team that allowed the breach, right? For us, we're real at risk, I guess.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So on like your iPhone, I'm real basic iPhone user of all this stuff. Like where you have your password and then you have your picture on there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a safe way to, or should you still have better passwords? Like if they have to.
Like you mean your facial recognition?
Yeah, like if you have to use your face and then they automatically put your password in after they do that facial recognition, is that safe or is that still not that good?
What do you think about that? I mean, there is. I mean,
Okay.
It's not great. Is it better than what the alternative is in some cases? Yeah, it is.
So still
But
use a phrase, because I've
it's
never
not
heard
great.
this stuff like use a phrase instead of like your granddaughter's birthday.
Most people don't really realize you can have spaces and make phrases with passwords, and it's much easier to hit 13 characters and things like that if you're doing that. Much easier than 8, and it's probably not in a database. It's going to be scanned when somebody finds it on the dark web or something like that.
Should you use multiple, like have how you have to have one for banks and Fidelity and all these places? Should you have different ones for everything, or can you use kind of some of the same things?
The thought is yes. Thought is yes. Now I realize that is hard to make that feasible, but password managers could help with that, and other things could make that easier.
What's the best password? If you're going to save your passwords on my phone, in order to save your passwords, you need to have a password, and I don't know how to do that. But what's the best password manager thing to use? Like, what would you recommend for like regular use?
There's a lot of different ones out there. Like I said, I think Keeper is a popular one. Keeper.
That's just an app.
Yeah, it's an app. It's an app, but it also ties into a lot of different things you use on your laptop or whatever. Do you promote any brands of password managers while we're talking about it?
I like 1Password is what I like.
Yeah.
I like 1Password because it's encrypted and it's device specific, so you can't just get your master password unless they're accessing it from your device that's registered with their database. They can't get in there.
Right.
All the data is encrypted. So
Yeah.
we encourage, like in my company, we encourage multi-factor authentication for sure, but we also scrape troves of data that ends up on the dark web. We scrape it ourselves, and we look for duplicate passwords, and we find them every day we find employees of our company that are using duplicate passwords, so. I mean, if you have data, electronic data, chances are it's on the dark web. It just is, it already is. Now, whether they can use it actively against you is different, but we have tools and people that scrape the dark web looking for that stuff. We hear about searching, capturing, finding.
So just imagine eBay, but for your personal information. If it gets caught by any number of entities, it can be sold cheaply to people that could do anything from annoy you to steal your identity, depending on what they have. Maybe they just have an email address and a password. Maybe it's your social security number, mother's maiden name, and bank credit information. That's different, right? Yeah.
One thing that I saw, you're familiar, with that Meta AI, that's on Facebook.
Yeah.
I was at a picnic this past weekend with my oldest friend, and we've been friends since we were about 4 years old, okay? And there's pictures of me and my wife and everything, and I had stuff posted, had a band playing and everything too. And when I had it posted, I went in there, there was a link down that says, with his name and everything, and I clicked on it, and it had a litany on there of AI knowing back to where we knew him from in the early 60s, where he was from, where I was from. Is way too much that AI knows on this kind of information. And I think it's quite dangerous, to be frank.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see in particular, you wait till the midterms come up this next year. All of us political people in here as well, they're going to come up and make faces. They're going to record stuff and so forth of you saying things that you're not going to be saying, but the public out there is going to be bought on it. Now, I have an icon that I have that comes up, caution. I see that on Facebook and so forth, and I post that. I said, this is all AI fraud, shipwrecks and things, all kind of massive people getting killed. I don't know if you've ever seen that. I see that stuff, and I've noticed it extremely bad, and especially the last month in particular. So it shows there's no end to this. It's going to continue to get worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's on Facebook is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that is Meta AI that's built into Facebook. You can use it for, there's a LinkedIn dossier thing now that I could, say I'm in sales and IT and I'm going out to meet somebody and I want to learn something about them. You can run a dossier on anybody's name on these things and it gives you, all kinds of information about them, business or not, about them, about whatever it has found. I encourage you to go home and Google your name and see what comes up first. Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of these are more partisan. Can I say that word? We're talking Microsoft. We're talking Google, Alexa. All of those are more left-leaning. Do we have any conservative out there? No. Yeah, so I don't trust that level.
Look, they are big corporations.
Yeah, they are.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Another negative effect of AI being used a lot is that there's very few people now, percentage-wise, that actually have deep critical thinking skills. And this massive scrolling people do, where subjects are changing over and over on apps and any of that, really. That it's affected our critical thinking skills, and AI is making that worse also. And I have a friend that is a professor at U of L, and you were just alluding to that. They have tricks and things they use to make sure the students are not using AI because they want them to develop some critical thinking skills.
Right, exactly.
So think about that. If you have children using this over and over and over, and they think it's cool, say, I'd rather you didn't do it until you get to the point where you want to finish it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a psychological manipulation woven into this program?
Well, there certainly can be. Look, it's pulling data from whatever it has access to. We know the internet is not always trustworthy, and we know that not everything out there is true, and people can put whatever they want. It's scouring the internet in a lot of cases to find this information and to give it to you. And that's the accountability piece that I mentioned earlier. It's real important to that the world adapts a sense of accountability into what it's pulling here. And this it goes along with the medical stuff. It's great, it's there, you can run it, you can look at it. Don't put all your faith in it, and double check it.
Well, there was an example I heard, like I was thinking of flattery, like the use of flattery to gain trust of a human being and then do things based on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting. I could take an email and I could say, this message to this person needs to be longer, this, or more succinct than this. And it's the same for like Facebook Messenger. This person has sent me this message, write me a response that flatters them, that shows them that I care, that I love them, whatever it is, and it will do it. And it will give you 4 versions of what it is, and you pick the one you like. I mean, that's, yeah.
How has and is information fed into AI so they can turn around and do everything?
Eventually, just run everything? Is that, I'm sorry, I don't know if I understand the question.
Somehow, AI's got to get this information. How is it fed in? How is it being fed in? So that every instant we have the answer to any question.
Well, basically, it's based on us and the information that we feed to it. So, if something is searched repeatedly in Google, some news story that just happened, right? And you type in part of it and it finishes it for you, that's the most popular search at that time. AI is using the most popular information of what we put into it, what we put into the internet, what we put out there, and what we search for and the information that we want. So if there's news stories out there and 5 journalists write a news story about something that really didn't happen, or they twist their words to the left-leaning side, or they twist their words however they want, and those are the most popular sites, it's going to use that information to give you your answer when you look. Now, there's a lot of pluses and minuses to some of this. Sometimes the Google answer that you get right at the top that is AI driven is correct and right, and yeah, what year did this happen, or the fun stuff that we use it all for, right? You're having a conversation there with your friend and you want to know something, or you're arguing about something and you're disagreeing on something, well, we can find that answer right away. It's in our pocket. That stuff's one thing. Opinions and other things are a totally different world, but ultimately it's using the internet to gather the information and to give it to you, to spit it out. And it's combining it to not just use one site, which is where the plagiarism and stuff comes in. You can't cite one reason or one spot where you got that Google AI information from. Now the ones below it, the links below it, if you scroll down, those are specific sites. And those may have the information you're looking for in a succinct article. But the top one is not. The top one is gathered.
What location is AI located?
Everywhere. Yeah.
There are data centers throughout the entire United States that are being built. I was listening to a professor discuss this on C-SPAN, and the amount of energy that it's going to take to operate these huge data centers is absolutely mind-boggling. Who is going to pay for the energy? And then my neighbor said they basically generate a lot of heat. So you're going to have water coming in to cool them down. Can you address that issue at all? Do you know much about it?
Well, the answer is I don't know who's gonna. I mean, if they are federally subsidized data centers or something like that, then yeah, it would be us if they were government ran and things like that. Although I would say that the government data centers, the ones that they're using to gather their information and to use AI internally, are probably maintained. First of all, I don't know where any of it sits. That's why I said everywhere. And I kind of made a joke of it, but it is. It's everywhere. It could be in this country. It could be out of this country. It could be anywhere. You're right. They take an incredible amount of power. There's data centers being built every day. Microsoft manages more than you could ever imagine. Semi-trucks and semi-trucks worth of data centers are being built every day. But, you know, it's a good, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that question, really. I don't know who's paying. If it's government ran, probably us.
Just so somebody is aware of, another thing I have is automated license plate readers. Are you familiar with that? That's AI generated, and all of that information that they get on your license plates from out the whole entire United States is kept at a data center. And all the individual has to go in and key in a given license plates or a color of a car, a different in place. And a lot of times we find out that it can read 2,000 license plates in 1 minute, and the standard area of deviation is 1 out of every 10 when misidentified. And I was talking to an individual that was actually driving. They were up in Pennsylvania, and they were stopped by, they were like 70-year-old couple. They were on a trip, and they were stopped by this policeman because they said you had a stolen car. It took them over 24 hours to free themselves, knowing that the car was actually the same color. The license plate was extremely the same, and they had to basically defend who they were, and they had a very difficult time doing that.
Yeah.
Buyer beware. And they're putting these automated license plate readers, there are our cities. They came to our city and wanted to present it, and I seemed to be the only one that knew anything about it because no one else did. But I hear they're in Fort Mitchell. I hear some are maybe they're trying to get people into Erlanger. So my contention there is these people are lobbying to sell this product to cities to where every post in the United States, even on the interstate, they will have these automated license plate readers. And to me, that recalls China. You'll be going nowhere without 24/7 surveillance, 365.
Yeah, they started some of the technology. I don't know if you've been in Florida recently. There was tolls everywhere, and you had to stop and pay your toll or do whatever. You don't stop for many of them anymore. You drive straight through them. And that's where some of it came from.
I've also heard that there is a lawsuit with the Supreme Court of the United States, and it's a county out of Virginia, because they're saying that is a huge violation of the Fourth Amendment.
Yeah.
And I would basically say, not in my city will I vote to have these automated license plate readers, but they're already everywhere.
Yeah.
Just a word of warning, buyer beware. And you did a fabulous job. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, I think we have time for, do we have time for a couple more? We have time for a couple more?
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Okay, yeah. You have a secret password with your husband, you said, for phone call, you know, make sure it's on your phone and stuff like that, yeah. I mean, I think going back, you know, the things that we've used really have been password managers and passphrases and things like that, otherwise. And the callbacks now are important. You know, calling back to verify it is somebody if you have any indication that it might not be. You know, calling their cell phone or sending them a text message and saying, that was just you to call me, right? I just, you know, wanted to verify it. I think it'll constantly evolve. I think that what you have is good. But, you know, two-form authentication is still really the thing that drives a lot of making sure that you are who you say you are and all of that. And personally, having what you have, though, is actually more than I hear what most people do. So that's good. Yeah. Yellow, there's one behind you first. Yeah, go ahead. Well, I think that everything just needs to be double checked. The information that is coming out in general, different resources and things like that need to be checked. But
One thing like the lady who was leaving it on too, she was talking about education.
yeah.
We know that the more generous you in schools, the more cancer you have. And it's not, so I saw her
It does, but a lot of businesses look at it as them being more productive as well. And less human. I mean, it's like the call center stuff where you don't end up talking to a person ever. It really is something where that human side of things, face-to-face things, it is a big point of discussion. It can be scary. Yeah.
8 billion people in the world call AI at the same time. How long do I have to wait?
About 63 seconds. That's the number, 63 seconds. Yeah.
Has there been any discussion of the use of deceased people's images? And I'm thinking of a specific example recently of an interview that was done with a Parkland person who was killed in the Parkland shooting, and any of that.
I have not. I don't know. I haven't been. Yeah, go ahead. Have you?
Yeah, just, I don't know if you want to talk about this at all or not, but we've been talking about AI, it's just one big thing, but is the difference between like public AI, it's machine learning off public information, but also separate individual AI agents within, say, like your bank might have their own unique AI agent that learns only off of their processes and their data, et cetera. So it's not as susceptible to bad information.
Yeah. Big companies, especially nowadays, are starting to utilize their own internal AI systems that they're using to get the answers that they really want them to see.
Still machine learning, but
Still machine
it doesn't
learning.
have all the garbage.
Yeah, it's just not public. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay, so I just want to bring up, it's kind of like a rhetorical question, just for everyone to think about, but in the terms of evolution, we had like a period of eugenics, which is horrible, but also there's something called epigenetics. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but okay.
No.
Not really. Okay, so it just says how your behaviors and environment can cause changes in the way that your genes work. So in other words, like if you were born with all kinds of like genes from your, from bloodline, and then some of those genes will be turned on or turned off based on your environment. And so now with the AI, that's basically demonstrating now. I'm not really worried on this, but I looked it up. But anyway, so basically our genes are being affected by what we're getting on AI. Yeah. So it's basically our culture is changed. Basically whatever culture you live in basically affects what genes that are in you that get turned on.
Yeah.
Well, now we have a whole new culture with AI on the internet, which is basically it's doing the epigenetics. It's kind of like eugenics. It's kind of like shaping a culture.
Yeah.
So it's something to be aware of.
Yeah, it's definitely a different phase of our lives, right? I mean, the internet was one thing, and this is the next thing, I feel.
Yeah.
So I really want to thank everybody for their time tonight.
Thank you, Brian. That was just a lot of great information. We all appreciate sharing that information. It's all new stuff. Yeah. Also, I did not pass the bucket earlier. Well, I'll start down here, and please don't feel obligated. Any loose cash, change, anything, it all helps. So appreciate any donation.
I will sign a check.
Or checks.
No checks. No checks.
Oh, no checks. Cash is good. And I got a little bit of bad news. If you were here to see Nate Morris campaign contacted Jan kind of last minute, and he is not going to be here tonight. But we do have other people that are speaking. So I'm going to start with Cole. Cole, you wanted to speak tonight?
Good evening. How are we tonight? Good. Great. Well, my name is Cole Cusick, and I'm running for House District 63, the State House of Representatives here in Kentucky. I was given 5 minutes. Usually that means 7. At 10 minutes, I will get waved down to get down, and the mic will get cut off. At 15 minutes, the police will be called. So I'm going to try to keep it. Yes, thank you. I know some people are armed, and we could do a citizen's arrest if necessary. But why am I running for office? Well, I'm running for office to do 3 things. The first is to protect children from the violence of abortion and to keep Kentucky an abortion-free state. Secondly, on the protect children, is to protect them from the radical gender ideology warfare that's going on with our next generation and from the radical procedures. Thankfully, the state has made a stand to be an abortion-free state, and thankful to our great conservative legislators to stand up and to eliminate those practices in Kentucky. The second is to eliminate taxes. The state has stepped down our 5% state income tax to 3.5%. I know, again, our conservative legislators have fought to get that lower. I will not be satisfied until we eliminate it totally and get that down to 0%. Additionally, we do need to reform our property tax system. I know that there's some hurdles the state will have to go through to make sure that we either cap our property taxes or property evaluations, but I'm looking to do some very creative things when it comes to property tax reform and returning the rightful ownership of your property to you as the individual and not to the state. Lastly, I'm going to defend your constitutional liberties, namely your rights to free speech, religious liberty, and your right to self-defense. My favorite person to listen to on this topic is Judge Napolitano, as he talks about, which is natural law, which is that your creator, our creator, gives us our rights. It is not the government. The government does not give you your rights, nor can they take it away. And I will defend your constitutional rights at every single turn. A little bit about my background. I was born and raised in northern Kentucky. My great-grandparents moved to Ludlow, House District 63, back in the 1940s from south central Kentucky. And my grandparents started a small business in trucking, and they started a church in Florence on Dixie Highway about 40 years ago. My brother's the pastor there now. And they started a private school, Zion Christian Academy, 30 years ago. That's where I attended as a child and where my kids go to school at now. I'm very passionate about school choice and education and raising our children right. I've got a beautiful wife. She's somewhere in this library. She has 3 kids with her right now, 6, 5, and 1. So she's not in this room. She's probably in the kids section, and my kids are probably fighting or having a good time. Who knows? We'll see on the way out. Yeah, that's okay. But I did work for Congressman Massey first coming out of college, and he taught me a couple of very important lessons. And that is to stand on principle, no matter what swamp you're in, and to do it with character and integrity, no matter who the president is, no matter who the Speaker of the House is. And it's to always stand for what is right. And that's what I'm going to promise to you as your state representative, if you live in House District 63, is I will always stand for what is right, no matter what the cost is. I've also worked for 2 social conservative nonprofit organizations in public policy, with the Family Foundation first and also with Commonwealth Policy Center. I worked on making Kentucky an abortion-free state, protecting and defending women's sports, and then with some of the trans issues. And then I also recruited conservative candidates to run for office. I'm not sure if any of you all were here about a year ago where we had T.J. Roberts, Marion Proctor, and Steve Rawlings all here for the forum. That was something that I had put on and advocated for, and I thought it was a great night to showcase our conservative leadership in Boone County. I have my campaign kickoff in 2 weeks. That is on August 19th at 7 p.m. I have some flyers over there. Please take them. And I would love to have you there. We're going to have a strong showing, a big showing. I'll have my friend Seth. He sings at church. He's a good friend of mine. He's going to sing some worship songs, and we're going to really invite the presence of the Lord, invite the wisdom of the Lord. I can't do this without His presence, without His hand upon me and His hand upon the state. That's at 7 p.m. August 19th. That's a Tuesday night. last thing I'll say is my friend down in Louisville, it's an older couple, they had given me this little book. It's a primer. It's an old book that was handed out and used for a couple of 100 years in the early America. And it has this little portion in this book which I loved, and it was a Westminster Catechism. And the first question in this book is, what is the chief end of man? And that answer to that question goes, the chief end of man is to glorify God and to enjoy Him forever. And I look forward to the day I get to see the face of my Creator and to enjoy Him forever. I'm enjoying Him now, but I look forward to that day as well. But right now, my job and our goal is to glorify God in everything we do and we say, how we love our family and the homes that we live, in our communities, in our churches, in our state, and our country. And my goal and my prayer is that I would glorify God in everything I do, and if I do get the privilege of representing you, that I would glorify you and glorify God as a representative here in this state. The things I do, the things I say, and what I stand up for. So thank you, and God bless you.
And Chet asked to go next. Chet Ham.
I was not planning on saying anything tonight, but I'll just plug a little bit here. So for those that don't know me, my name is Chet Hand. I'm the former chairman of the Boone County GOP. I'm a current commissioner on the Boone County Fiscal Court, and I am running for judge executive in Boone County. Appreciate that. I'm not going to give you a long spiel or anything. What I'll tell you is that in the last couple years, 2.5 years or so being on the fiscal court, it's been very eye-opening to me in terms of process and the overregulation in our county. And just to go back a little bit further, 10 years ago when I moved here from Alaska to Kentucky, I brought my family down here. Right now I have a wife and 7 kids. And all generations of my family have moved here as well. My parents, my siblings, my grandparents, etc. But when I moved here from Alaska, I moved here because this was a conservative area, generally, and there was a lot of opportunity. I'm not going to lie, I felt like I moved to a communist country when I moved here. I had no idea how overregulated this area is and how much the government intrudes on the lives of the average citizen. And I think a lot of people that have lived here forever don't even realize it because we've grown up with it. My position on politics locally has been that if good people don't step up to the plate, bad people are going to do it. For those that don't know, in 2021, I organized all of the efforts in Boone County to reorganize the Boone County Republican Party, returning it to a precinct strategy. We were successful there. I helped organize opposition to many of the what I would consider to be establishment politicians at the time, and our representatives and our fiscal court commissioner, and we were successful 100% across the board in replacing all of them. Since then, on the fiscal court, I've made it my mission basically just to put government back in its proper role locally. I think most people don't, we focus on national politics, we focus on local or state politics, but we forget about the fact that a significant portion of what influences us on a daily basis is local government. But a lot of people don't even know what the fiscal court is or what it does, or that it controls a majority of things that impact us every day. So my goal is to help communicate and make sure people understand what is happening in local government, how it's happening, where they can have input. It's a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And when I look at what's happening in Boone County right now and the direction that we're going, it's very apparent to me that the strategy that's taken us from A to B over the last 30 years is different than the strategy that's going to be necessary for the next 30 years. We've tripled our population. We have a substantial growth in the area in terms of development and infrastructure, etc. And we have new challenges that are coming with that in terms of population growth, housing, taxation, and other things. And the difference between me and many others is that I don't consider myself a politician, definitely not a career politician. I've got a career ahead of me in other areas. I've got a farm and everything else that I take care of. I have no intention of being in politics for very long. I intend to get in, maybe a term or two, fix what needs to be fixed, and then get out. I don't believe in career politicians. I believe in citizen statesmen. And so that's my goal. I think I have a very good chance of a successful campaign here. I truly believe that I will win in this campaign against Gary Moore, who's been in office for almost 30 years now. He and I met a few months ago, actually, I guess, and he said, man, I wish you had just waited another 4 years before you ran. I still had things that I wanted to get done. And I said, well, if you haven't done it in the last 30 years, you just put it on a sticky note and leave it on the desk. I'll get to it. I think there's definitely momentum for change in the county. I will bring that. People that know me know that I respond to my emails, I respond to my texts. It might take me a little bit to get there, but I will respond eventually. I'm very reachable. My number is out there. In fact, somebody called me the other day and said, I don't know who my elected commissioner is, but you were the only one that had your cell phone on the website. So if you guys have any questions about Boone County or anything like that, feel free to reach out. If you have any concerns that you want addressed, reach out and let me know. Other than that, my campaign is going very well. We're doing exceptionally well on fundraising. Kickoff information to come out soon, and we're prepared for a brutal fight. So, appreciate your support.
Chet did touched on something that I wanted to talk about, and that's being involved in local politics, local policies, and I think it's something that we have strayed from in most recent years, and it's something I want to start bringing everyone back to again. We started posting the county meetings on the blast, and what I like to do at these meetings, or even send information to Jan, if there is something coming up in your community, whether it's your county, the city, the area, if there's something of importance that you need to bring people, bringing people in or just raising awareness about, please let Jan know so that we can put it on the blast. And it's amazing how many people we can bring in. Just create a spark and bring more people into these meetings. Also, I need help with just knowing all the different, it's hard. It takes a lot of time, and it's hard to look up all those county meetings because we've got 4 counties here, and each county has its own fiscal court meetings, has its own library meetings, has its own school board meetings, and that's not even getting into zoning and all the other types. So I'm looking for help from you, looking for volunteers that can help me get all those meetings organized and at least listed so that we can put them out on the blast so everybody knows. So please, after the meeting, you can talk to me or Jan about helping out. We appreciate it. And with that being said, we still have one more speaker. TJ Roberts, if you want to speak today.
So I hope the consolation prizes have been adequate given the absence of one of the speakers. Hopefully I'm adequate as well. I just want to give a very quick update on District 66. You guys are presently in District 66. How many of you are my bosses? Like, how many of you can run me out of office? A few of y'all. Good. Just wanted to give you an update on what I've been up to in the interim. So Marianne Proctor and we hosted a rally outside of the Shaven Branch Library to stand up against eminent domain. The transportation cabinet at the state level is trying to come down into northern Kentucky. It's an active effort to take people's homes without their permission. I think eminent domain is one of the most unethical practices in Kentucky, and I'm fighting to reform that. I introduced legislation last year to put a stop to it and give better procedural protections to ensure that if we are taking property, it's absolutely necessary. So that's something that we're fighting for. I will be fighting for that in 2026. We're also working on, as Cole mentioned, property tax reform. I'm more an advocate for abolition, but that's something that that's a conversation to be had. Now, just after that quick update on the legislative side, I do want to get into campaign side. I am running for re-election, and any rhino who wants that seat can come and try and take it. But I need y'all's support The Northern Kentucky Tea Party's principles are free markets, smaller government, and lower taxes, and I'm going to continue to fight for that in Frankfort. I have an event coming up. Senator Rawlings is, and whose district you're also in, is hosting a fundraiser on August 30th. It's at the England Idlewild Park, Shelter 1. I'd invite all of y'all to be there August 30th at 5 p.m. So just wanted to give you that. I want to make a big show for us. That is my first campaign event of the 2026 election cycle. I'd love for you all to be there to show your support for Christian, constitutional, conservative values. So just please put that on your calendar. Now, putting on my other hat, I have my Rhino Wrangler hat, and one of the ways that I go in to rein in the rhinos is I'm the chairman of the Northern Kentucky Young Republicans. We are open for all Republicans to come to our events, and we have one of the biggest events of the year coming up in a few weeks. It's our annual Goldwater Gala. It's a formal event to try to fundraise in order to get more young Republicans involved. This next generation is infuriated by the lies of the left, and that's why you see younger conservatives rising up and putting a stop to the people who just advocate for big government on both sides of the aisle. And supporting the Northern Kentucky Young Republicans is one way to do that. It's August 22nd at the Little Britain Carriage House. This one's $50 a ticket. This is the only event the Northern Kentucky Young Republicans ever charges for attendance. Our keynote speaker is RNC co-chair Casey Crosby, a native Kentuckian who, in my view, has been doing a good job at the RNC in terms of actually bringing conservative principles in. So I would invite you all to attend. I'd invite you all, if you know someone who would benefit from what the Northern Kentucky Young Republicans do, to please attend as well. Our programming this year has been terrific. In January, we started with Richard Nelson at the Commonwealth Policy Center. February, we had Nate Morris. March, we had Andy Barr. April, we had Daniel Cameron. May, we revived our tradition of bowling with Congressman Tom. In May, we did a legislative update with 11 of the 12 Republican members of the Northern Kentucky Caucus. Sorry, I didn't prepare remarks. And then in June, we revived the tradition of bowling with Congressman Thomas Massey. July, we just had our annual summer picnic. August is the Goldwater Gala, and I'd love to have everyone there. We have more speakers that will be announced as they come in, so I just wanted to put that on everyone's radar. And thank you to everyone at the Northern Kentucky Tea Party. You guys are the reason why people like myself, people like Mary Ann, people like Chet, people like Steve, people like John are able to hold office. The champions of Northern Kentucky are because of the efforts of the Northern Kentucky Tea Party. The fact that we are a virtually rhino-free area, it's not because of me, it's not because of any individual candidate, it's because of you guys. Thank you.
I apologize, we are going a little over time, but one thing I realized, there's a lot of elected officials here tonight. And if you guys don't mind, I'd like to just go around the room and please, if you're an elected official, raise your hand and introduce yourself. Say who you are and what position you hold. Mary Ann, you want to start?
Now Rawlings is talking, imagine that. Mary Ann Foster, District 60, Union and portions of Florence.
Steve Rawlings, State Senate District 11, which is northern Boone County and central Boone County. I did have one announcement, is not that, but we have a geoengineering hearing on August 27th, which a lot of people really like. And just real quick, we can't talk about chemtrails though. That triggers people. So we can talk about geoengineering, weather manipulation, cloud seeding, and that kind of thing. Just keeping our air clean, our soil, and our water. So we got a hearing at Natural Resources on the 27th.
Boone County Commissioner, District 2, but all of our commissioners represent the whole county.
Kathy Flegg.
Oh, Kathy Flegg. Boy, I've been here a long time. I'm one of those that Chet talks about that's been here a long time. I ran for 3 terms. I ran against Gary Moore. I got beat. my 74 votes. It was a sick night. Yeah, we learned a lot, didn't come back. I came here and I was your president, what, 4 years?
Yeah.
Then I ran again for judge, or for commissioner, and won. So, you know, I'm running again. I'm sure I'm gonna say I'm running, and I mean, if somebody else came up and said they were running and they were really, really a Tea Party person, or they had some values that I really supported, I'd be glad to back it out. But I am raising money, and I am in the game right now. Thanks.
Is there anyone that I missed?
Steve here.
Oh, of course.
Judy Bell Smith, Crescent Springs City Council. My mantra is civic engagement, bringing people to the process. I basically do a lot of research, investigating, and find out that a lot of our elected officials don't know a whole lot about what they're talking about, what they're doing. But I'm running a third time for re-election. If you know anybody in Crescent Springs, we're quite small, but I'm the voice for the people, not for the red tape. I'm the voice for the people, and if you can't find a solution to your problem, you call me and I will find it. Thank you.
I'm Julie Maddox. I'm on the Green County Board of Education, so I am an elected official, but not quite.
Anyone else? I would like to recognize one sitting in the back of the room, John Schickel.
Oh, yeah.
John, you have an event coming up, don't you?
Well, by gosh, I do, thank you. My annual pickle, and it's not a pickle feast, it's a pickle and waiter feast. And there's flyers on the table, it's next month, the 27th. Jan is actually on our pickle and waiter feast committee. And everyone's welcome, there's no charge, and it goes for a very worthy cause, the Special Olympics Northern Protection. If you have anything ever been involved with that, you know how it is. We're 1/3, almost 1/2. This event is almost 1/2 of their budget. So come out and have a good time. It's from noon to 5, a daytime event. It doesn't cost a thing. We'll shake you down for money, but you don't have to pay. And then also, if you play pickleball, just added this to the feast. The Tuesday before, we're having a pickleball tournament. All that money is going to the Special Olympics. That will be Tuesday at Sports and All Swords. Jan's going to have all the information on that. Thank you. Sure.
And I apologize, I'm going over time here, but I also just wanted to announce that the next meeting is April 3rd in September 3rd. I've got it written right in front of me, I still can't get it right. September 3rd at the Erlanger Library in the Amp Room. And I also want to ask everyone that if you wouldn't mind helping put things back together again, we need to put all the chairs away. So if you wouldn't mind taking your chair and putting it up on one of the racks, greatly appreciate that. But thank you all for coming, and we'll see you September 3rd.
After going to this wonderful special meeting, they were really ran overtime. So I decided the best thing for me to do is come on down here and pray that you're here. My wonderful, wonderful friend. It's so nice to see you. And I'm going to sing, I'm not going to sing my old Kentucky Home because I sing it all the time, but I am going to sing a song that was taught by Billy Preston. He wrote it and sang it in his mother's little church. It was made popular all over the world by Joe Cocker as a love song. But I sing it and whistle it just a little bit different. So I'm going to do it a little different, and that's for Mrs. Archambault here, who's a wonderful lady, Susan. And for my two daughters, Polly and Pamela and Michelle. There are three of them. Girls, and my son, Guido, or Guy. And they're helping us all get through this terrible times.
I'm so sorry.
And I
yes, you're in
love
my
them
prayers
dearly.
Now I'll put you in my daily prayers.
Yeah, the prayers. And the song goes like this. Now, ladies, the song goes like this. And it's for Susie here, but you're allowed to listen to it. And it goes like this. so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hope for. You're everything I need. You are so beautiful to God. And you are so beautiful to God,
Thank
Susie.
you, John. Thank
You are
you
beautiful
very
to
much.
God.
You have made my day.
Well,
And
thank
it's
you so
good
much.
to see you and hear you whistle and sing.
This is insane.
My dad used to whistle, and I miss whistling.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody whistles
That's where I
anymore,
got
and
it from
love
my
to whistle.
dad.
I was going to say, must have been
My-
that generation that did, but I'm so glad. It's a gift that was given to you, John.
It was.
And you're using it.
To say
and
hello
to
and
make
love.
hello and love and
That's
send
right.
your love.
It's the Holy Spirit's job to convict, God's job to judge, my job, your job to love. I was taught that by Billy Graham.
Okay.
And where I gave my life to the Lord in 1956 at a Billy Graham crusade in Louisville. My little sister and I were taken down there by Brother Kerger and Vernon Likens, Carl Covey, Robert Roden, and
That sounds like some good boys.
those were the deacons.
Okay.
And Carl Covey, Walter Roden, John Griselle, and Vernon Likens. Those four, and Polly, and Brother Kerger's wife, took us down on an old rickety church bus. My little sister Judy Felty Stephenson, and she's confined now to a walker, and only weighs 77 pounds. Bless her heart. She's in bad shape from an accident where some people who were messing with drugs were being chased by the police, and they ran into her car at 110 miles an hour and left her totally incapacitated for months and months. But I talk to her almost every other day. I send her little pictures, and I'm going to send her a special little picture of you. And you'll remember her and little Johnny in your prayers.
Hi, how are you? I will. I'm enjoying my time with your brother here in the library.
And say a little
Just
prayer
saying
for Miss
so.
June, too.
Yes, I
Smartest
will.
move
I
ever
will.
made.
Okay,
I always
she's
end it by saying, J, 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 Jesus, June, and John.
That's good. I like that.
Oh, God bless you.
And God bless you, John. And I think he's got more work for you to do.
I'm
here
still
in the
working. I
world,
told
whatever,
June, I said,
because you still got your voice and your
That's right.
smile and you're
That's
moving.
right.
You're moving, darling.
And they had a good
I'm
meeting
sorry
upstairs.
That had to have been scary.
Oh, it was.
To be in that wreck and everything.
Yeah,
Just
it
had to
was.
be scary.
Particularly with my right leg. That's the leg I drive with, and it just really messed it up all the way from the foot up. And
Wow. But you're doing it.
Yep, doing it. I got out here today and was in Crescent Springs earlier in the morning, and said the Lord's Prayer with them, with the whole group. I do that each time I'm there.
Wonderful,
And try to live a life.
You are spreading the good news by being you.
Just be myself.
Being wonderful you, John.
Oh, God bless you.
I see the twinkle in your eye.
Right.
And the smile on your face.
And
the love in your heart.
That's right.
I see the love in your heart.
Everybody loves somebody sometime. Makes no difference when or where or how. Everybody loves somebody sometime. And Susie, it's your time, and the library's time right now in Boone County.
Right.
Praise the Lord.
Thank you, John. Praise the Lord.
Finish this up. And
Your emotions may play on the witness of the Spirit. You say, Pastor, then what is the widen the context of the Sermon on the Mount to the four Gospels? You will discover why is it different now than it was then? Why do relationship that God has provided for those who love him? Galatians chapter 4. And I want you to notice in this passage of scripture what took place, born of a woman, born unto the law, to redeem those who were under the law, that then an heir of God through Jesus Christ. Do you get the picture? Until God sent forth his son, born of a woman, in the fullness of time, our relationship was different. It wasn't like it is now. When that veil was torn, when Christ died on the cross, a whole new way of approach to God was opened up to us. And whereas before we are classified as slaves or servants, God has now changed that whole status, and he's made us sons, and he's put his Holy Spirit within our hearts so that now you and I can call God Father in the most endearing term in all of the Word of God. We are sons of the Father. In the Old Testament, we were servants. In the New Testament, we are sons. And in 1 John 3:1, behold what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. When I think about looking up into the face of a loving Heavenly Father who cares for me and cares for me more than the most intense love I know as a human, I can say with John, what manner of love is that? What
Amen.
Incredible thing.
Praise
that
the Lord.
is. The fatherhood of God and our relationship to him
Back
has
home.
a bearing on a number of doctrines
38
in the Word of
McCollum
God.
Road,
For
Independence,
instance, the
Kentucky.
incarnation in Galatians